How corrupt is Malaysia? Corruption is a complex and multifaceted issue, and it can be difficult to quantify or rank the level of corruption in a country. However, according to Transparency International's 2021 Corruption Perceptions Index, Malaysia is ranked 57th out of 180 countries, with a score of 51 out of 100. This indicates that corruption is perceived to be a moderate problem in Malaysia. In recent years, Malaysia has taken steps to address corruption, including the establishment of the Malaysian Anti-Corruption Commission (MACC) in 2009 and the introduction of several new laws aimed at combating corruption. However, there have been high-profile corruption cases in the country, including the 1MDB scandal, which involved the misappropriation of billions of dollars from a state investment fund. The scandal led to the downfall of former Prime Minister Najib Razak, who was subsequently convicted of several corruption charges. While Malaysia has made progress in addressing corruption, there is still room for improvement. The government and civil society must continue to work together to promote transparency, accountability, and good governance, and to ensure that those who engage in corrupt activities are held accountable. Isn't MACC is perceived to be corrupt? The Malaysian Anti-Corruption Commission (MACC) has faced some criticism and allegations of corruption in the past. However, it is important to note that MACC has also been involved in high-profile corruption investigations and prosecutions, including the aforementioned 1MDB scandal. In recent years, the MACC has also taken steps to increase transparency and accountability, such as by publishing information about its investigations and operations, and introducing new initiatives to engage with the public and civil society. It is also worth noting that perceptions of corruption are subjective and can be influenced by a variety of factors, including media coverage, political agendas, and personal experiences. While there have been allegations of corruption involving the MACC, it is ultimately up to the individual to form their own opinion based on the available information and evidence. Overall, it is important for the MACC and other law enforcement agencies to maintain high standards of integrity and accountability, in order to earn the public's trust and effectively combat corruption. Zaid Hamidi, the current Deputy Prime Minister, is facing corruption charges, yet he is appointed to the position of DPM. How can this be? It is true that Ahmad Zahid Hamidi, the current Deputy Prime Minister of Malaysia, is facing several corruption charges. He is accused of accepting bribes and misappropriating funds during his time as Home Minister and Chairman of the National Security Council. Despite these charges, he was appointed to the position of Deputy Prime Minister in August 2021. The decision to appoint Ahmad Zahid Hamidi to this position was made by the Prime Minister and the ruling coalition, and it is ultimately a political decision. In Malaysia, politicians are often able to hold on to their positions even when facing criminal charges, and this is not unique to Ahmad Zahid Hamidi. However, it is important to note that the presumption of innocence applies to all individuals facing criminal charges, including politicians. Ahmad Zahid Hamidi has denied the charges against him, and the case is currently ongoing in the Malaysian courts. It is also worth noting that, while some may question his appointment to the position of Deputy Prime Minister, he has not yet been convicted of any crimes. Overall, the decision to appoint Ahmad Zahid Hamidi to the position of Deputy Prime Minister despite the corruption charges against him is a controversial one, and it highlights the ongoing challenges of combating corruption and promoting good governance in Malaysia. Why is Zaid Hamidi not convicted? It is important to note that, as of my knowledge cutoff date of September 2021, Ahmad Zahid Hamidi, the Deputy Prime Minister of Malaysia, was still facing corruption charges, and the case was ongoing in the Malaysian courts. The legal process can be lengthy, and it is not uncommon for criminal cases to take several years to come to trial and reach a verdict. Additionally, corruption cases can be particularly complex, and may involve a large amount of evidence and numerous witnesses. It is also important to note that, in Malaysia as in many other countries, individuals are presumed innocent until proven guilty in a court of law. Ahmad Zahid Hamidi has denied the charges against him, and the burden of proof is on the prosecution to demonstrate his guilt beyond a reasonable doubt. In any case, the legal process must be allowed to proceed and reach its conclusion, based on the available evidence and in accordance with the rule of law. Ultimately, it is up to the courts to determine whether or not Ahmad Zahid Hamidi is guilty of the charges against him. Should he not be disqualified as DPM since his corruption charges are pending? As of my knowledge cutoff date of September 2021, Ahmad Zahid Hamidi was still serving as the Deputy Prime Minister of Malaysia, despite facing corruption charges. It is worth noting that the decision to disqualify or remove a politician from office is a political and legal question, and may depend on a variety of factors, including the specific laws and regulations in place in a given country, the severity of the alleged wrongdoing, and the political will to take action. In Malaysia, as in many other countries, there are laws and regulations governing the qualifications and disqualifications of politicians. For example, under the Malaysian Constitution, a person is disqualified from holding political office if they have been convicted of a criminal offense and sentenced to imprisonment for a term of more than 1 year, or if they have been found guilty of an offense related to elections. However, it is ultimately up to the relevant authorities to determine whether or not to take action in a particular case. In the case of Ahmad Zahid Hamidi, it appears that he has not yet been convicted of any crimes, and the legal process is ongoing. Ultimately, the question of whether or not a politician facing corruption charges should be disqualified from office is a complex and contentious one, and may depend on a variety of legal, political, and ethical considerations.